emotion magic.
What emotion?
Forgiveness. It's more powerful than anything I felt.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, my name is Joe, also known as JZ Production on YouTube. Today I got an amazing and wonderfully talented guest. What's your name, sir?
Tony Morales.
Welcome, Mr. Morales. I got a couple questions for you, if you don't mind.
Thank you for having me. No, it's my pleasure to be here.
Okay. So, what are you doing during these times of quarantine?
Well, that's a great question. I'm hanging in there like the rest of us, like the rest of the world, waiting for this thing to pass. But work-wise, I'm currently working on a docu-series for a director friend of mine named John Hawk, who I've collaborated with for the past 10 years now on various projects of his. The docu-series is called Legacy, and it is about 3 young athletes who happen to all be children of famous athletes and budding athletes themselves and their stories of where they're heading in their lives.
What made you want to become a composer, and who was your biggest inspiration for composing?
Well, composer, I would say, I started playing guitar when I was a young boy, and I just loved music. It's not really a rhyme or reason. I just loved rock music, to be specific. And so learning to play an instrument was something that I was always wanting to do, and eventually, got a guitar, learned how to play it, and just fell in love with music. So growing up, I, pushed it as far as I could without formal education. I took some private lessons here and there and taught myself how to play a lot of songs and so forth, and ended up playing in bands and, ended up deciding that music was something I wanted to pursue as a career. So all my studies and trajectory led me to applying to music schools, and I got into a music school called Berklee College of Music. And when I arrived at Berklee, the thought was I would just become a professional musician, whatever that meant. Studio musician, somebody who would be hired to come in and play guitar on albums for any sort of artist, or whatever would happen. I wasn't quite sure. When I got to Berklee, I discovered the art of composition and composers, and really studied composers more than just what you would see growing up. Everyone knows about Beethoven, everybody knows about Mozart and all the classical composers when you grow up, but I didn't really learn about the craft of it until I got to Berklee. And it was about that time where the light bulb just went off for me, and I knew that was something that I wanted to do. Doubling that with discovering that composers wrote original music for movies, I also figured that out, and the process of it around the same time, and learned about it. And that's when I turned my life towards doing this as a living. And you had asked about who were some influences at the time. Early influences for me were Thomas Newman and Danny Elfman, and classic film composers like Bernard Herrmann and Jerry Goldsmith and Elmer Bernstein. Those are the first 5 composers who I really admired and would study their music and try to model what I would want to work on after.
Oh, believe it or not, I've had another composer on before. Do you know Mr. John Massari? Do you know that guy?
I know who he is. Yeah, I don't know him personally, but yes, I know who he is for sure.
Yeah, I've had him as a guest too on the podcast.
Awesome.
Yeah, and I've had all of you. Do you remember the '80s TV show Fame?
Yes. Oh, yeah. My wife is first of all, my wife is a huge fan of the movie, the original movie. So we talk about it a lot.
Because believe it or not, I've had a whole bunch of cast members from the TV show.
Oh, really? That's amazing.
Yeah, actually, because that's what I do during these times of quarantine. Ever since quarantine hit, I've been doing these podcast interviews. They're fun to do.
It's great. How long have you been doing them for? Before the pandemic?
Just the whole quarantine.
Oh, wow.
When quarantine has I gotta do something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I love it. It's great.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. Now, what is your favorite TV show or movie like composed? Like, do you have a favorite thing you've composed?
Um, that's a great question. I've got fond memories from most projects I've worked on, but I would say, let's see, I would say there's two that I really, really loved in television working on, and one was a show called Bloodline, which is on Netflix, and it was a family drama set in the Florida Keys, and that was probably my favorite, next to another TV thing I did called Hatfields and McCoys, and that
Oh,
was a mini series that I co-scored with a friend of mine, John Debney, another composer. Um, yeah, those two were definitely highlights for me.
see, I like. Do you remember? Okay, you House of Anubis. You know, like the TV show House of Anubis.
Yes,
Yeah,
House of Anubis. Yeah,
yeah,
I wrote the theme for that show.
yes. That was like one of my favorite TV shows. 'Cause,
Oh, really? Awesome. That's
yeah.
cool. Yeah, that was really neat. I remember doing the main title for that. God, it's been a while. Maybe 12 or 13 years ago. It was fun.
Yeah, the I can't do it, but like the beat, like it's really good. The whole
Oh, thank
song.
you. I'm glad
Mhm.
you liked it.
Yeah. Okay. Now, over the years of your career, do you still keep in touch with the people that you've worked with, like the other musicians or the other people you worked with?
Yes, for sure, all the time. It's part of part of what I do is you tend to, and a lot of composers that I know, you tend to build relationships with people that you are comfortable working with and continue them, whether that's musicians that you just like to work with, whether that's orchestrators or copyists, all the various members of the teamwork that it takes to produce music for film and television. um, so you tend to bring them back and hire them again, as you can afford to do. So I definitely keep in touch with people, and likewise, I'm also meeting new people all the time that are new in town, young composers, young musicians, and very very social industry. So and it's also built on relationships. So definitely keeping in touch and making new friends.
That's good. That's always good. Okay. Now,
Mhm.
who was the coolest person you've worked with? Choose the coolest person.
Oh, that's a funny question. Well, let's see. You mean like if there was a celebrity type of cool person, or just somebody who was just cool and I just enjoyed them?
Yeah, that one.
Well, I'll say this. One of the coolest moments I had, I got the opportunity to work directly with Antonio Banderas,
Oh, okay.
singing in the character of Puss in Boots that he played in the Shrek movies. So you're familiar with the Shrek franchise, the DreamWorks movies?
Yes.
So for the movie Shrek Forever After, that was the fourth Shrek movie.
Mhm.
Um, I was asked to do an arrangement for the soundtrack, not for the film, but for the soundtrack release of an arrangement of Bob Marley's "One Love," the classic Bob Marley song "One Love," but to arrange it so Puss in Boots would sing on it, would be the singer. So Antonio Banderas is the actor who does the voice of Puss in Boots. So I was thrilled, man. So I did the arrangement. I presented it to the producers who asked me to do it, and went through the rounds of getting it approved. And the last step was to go to Antonio Banderas's house with my music and sit. He has a recording studio because he's a musician. He makes music on his own as well. Was to go to his house,
Mhm.
record him singing on that song, and then finish producing the music afterwards, and then it would be released. And
Wow.
I was so nervous because I'd never worked with someone of Antonio's status in a musical setting, and I didn't want to disappoint him. It was like a lot of pressure, but it turned out great. He was very nice. It was a lot of fun to do. He started doing some ad libs and some character just ad libs in the character, which were hilarious. I love Puss in Boots, the character of the movies. So it's one of my favorites. So yeah, that was probably one of the coolest moments I've been able to be a part of.
Oh, so it's like the like Wayne's World, like I'm not worthy, that type of thing.
Yes, It was a little bit like that. Yeah, for sure. Man, I was nervous, but it was fun.
It's really cool. Okay. Now, if you never were in the field of composing or music, like what would your career be, and what other hobbies and interests do you have besides music?
Oh, wow, that's a good question. I don't, I don't know what other hobby or career I would. Well, I don't know what other career I would do. I mean, I would probably want to be a. When I was younger, I would have wanted to maybe be an athlete, but I didn't have the skill set. I'm a huge sports fan, so I love basketball. Is my favorite. I love football. I love baseball. I played sports growing up, all the way until like 8th grade. I would, play the seasonals, except for football. My parents never wanted me to play football. It was too dangerous. So I would play soccer in the fall, baseball in the spring, and that ended in 8th grade. I kind of just chose music over an athletic life. So I don't know, man. That's a great question. Now I'm a parent, and that's a full time job, and that's a full time life that I balance with my composer life. And I don't know that I would just aspire to be a parent, but I seem to get a balance, even though I've chosen this life as a composer.
Oh, okay. Now this kind of leads to the next question: favorite sports and favorite teams.
Ah, well, I I live in Los Angeles. I'm not from here. I relocated to Los Angeles when I was 22. So I got here in the 90s, and I've completely become a Los Angeles Lakers fan as far as basketball goes. I'm just a basketball junkie, so I'll watch any game that's on. If it's the Jazz playing, the Celtics or Miami. I just like basketball. So, but I'm a Lakers fan. Dodgers are my team. Los Angeles Dodgers. It's been a good year for Los Angeles sports.
Yeah.
Randomly, on topic, and football. I like them all. I'm starting to follow the Rams more now that they're an LA team. More the home team. But I'm not gonna lie. I play fantasy football, and it kind of ruins it because you start liking players more than teams, and it kind of gets intertwined. But it's fun.
Yeah. Well, if I get a basketball player, I'll let you know. I'll say, Mr. Morales or Tony, I got a basketball player.
Oh man, let me know. Yeah, that would be amazing.
Yeah. Okay. Now, do you have a favorite band or artist and type of music?
I listen to a lot of things, man. But a favorite artist, that's like the hardest question for me to answer because it changes. I'll go through waves of enjoying a certain style of music, maybe an artist. I have 2 daughters. I have a 14-year-old daughter and an 11, almost 12-year-old daughter, and so I hear a lot of their music, and so I'm not gonna lie, we have it on the radio, so a lot of pop music comes my way, and I find myself humming it in between, wherever I'm at. Um, so my little one loves Ariana Grande. I'm not listening to her, but I know the music. Taylor Swift, all of them. So, but again, that's a tough question for me. So right now, I'm just kind of in a pause of music. But anytime I need a fix, of something for if I just want to put something on, you're asking, I'll put on things that are probably leaning more in the indie rock world. I was a big fan of this band called the Delta Spirit.
Okay.
I don't know I don't think they're together anymore. But they are a Southern California based band that's got like indie with a little bit of, I don't want to say country, but they've got a little bit of twang in their music, but it's more rock based. I don't know how to describe it. They're kind of like Wilco a little bit. Another band I love a lot. So yeah.
Believe it or not, I actually got to meet my favorite band. Believe it or not.
Who's that?
Okay, so they're 70s, 80s, and 90s, but their lead singer passed away in the 90s. Do you know the band?
Well, Nirvana.
Mm-mm.
Okay. Lead singer, Alice in Chains.
Mm-mm.
Hmm. Give me a genre.
Okay, there are a variety of genres. There are rock, jazz, a whole bunch. You name it.
Yeah. Morphine.
Mm-mm.
Mm,
They're really popular, if that helps. Really, really popular.
I'm missing all the popular. The singer died. I don't know. I'm stumped.
They made a movie about them, if that helps.
Okay.
Sorry.
Let's see. So pop, rock, jazz, rock
There are a
and
whole
jazz.
bunch. There are a whole bunch of genres. We have to,
That's
like,
what. Are they an American band?
they're British. British.
Did Freddie Mercury die in the '90s? So Queen, you met Queen?
Queen, yes, yes.
Oh, that's amazing. I don't know why I envisioned Freddie Mercury passing in the '80s, but who knows? I mean, I don't know. Clearly, that's amazing. Where'd you meet him?
I actually met Brian and Roger, like one of the last members, because the other one, like John Deacon, he quit ever since Freddie died. So I
Mhm.
met Brian, May, and Roger. They had a concert here in Chicago. That's where I met Chicago in
Uh-huh.
2017. And we had backstage passes. Like, holy smokes, you're Queen! Like,
Oh, that is really cool. Were they
yeah,
nice?
yeah, very nice dudes. Very, very nice
Oh,
dudes.
that's great.
I was like
That's
having
really cool. Yeah, I would have been excited too. I would have been really nervous. That was a great movie, actually. You saw the movie?
yeah, Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah, cool.
They were a great band, like Queen, like like.
I love Queen, and Queen always had interesting. So I was a kid when they were when they had discovered the art of videos and made videos on MTV. And I remember always loving their videos because they were always interesting and entertaining. Um, yeah, big fan of Queen.
Yeah, because my parents, they raised me on like 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s music, believe it or not.
Yeah, Queen. Like, yeah, you just remind me. The how I like to look at music kind of like you do. I look at it in like decades as well.
Yeah.
What did I grow up listening to? Totally different than what I really loved in my early 20s, and then as I have aged, my taste have kind of just changed and evolved. But yeah, Queen is definitely one of those ones from my youth that I really enjoyed.
Because, like I said, like my parents, they raised me on this stuff. Like, I really don't care for nowadays music. I just like the older music. Like, I mean, that's how I was raised.
Yeah. Yep, same here. It's so easy. Like I don't even notice when I'm sorry, my wife and I will put on, whatever we like on, the device in the house, and my kids, that music feels old to them, but to us, it's like what we liked when we first met, in our 20s. So it's not old to us, but it's funny. It's funny how that happens. Generational divide in music.
It's like a little time capsule, right?
Hmm. Totally. Yeah. And it's also interesting, like with what I do for a living, as a composer, for film and TV and media, I have to continually evolve. I have to continually keep moving musically and know what's going on these days, and stay on top of it and not get stuck in the rut of, the classics,
Yeah.
and just listening to that. Otherwise, I'll never, continue to grow as a creator. So, but it's funny, I have to work at it because, it's a constant learning thing. And, it doesn't mean just because I know about whatever that's new doesn't mean that I necessarily would put it on in my casual time. Um, it becomes work. So it's funny trying to balance that as someone who makes music for a living.
Okay. Now, do you have a favorite food, and why is it your favorite food?
Food. I love food. I love food. Um, you know, uh, I love pizza and I love tacos. I know it's like so simple and so silly, but the reason is they never disappoint. They're go-tos for a reason. They're very popular for a reason. They just, particularly here in Southern California, you get some very amazing Mexican food. So it's just like never disappoints. Like you just know, I know there's good options, and no matter how I'm feeling or how sick I am of trying to decide what to eat, those two will always kind of, fill a need.
Yeah. You should try the Chicago pizza. That's really good. I don't know if you ever had Chicago pizza.
I've got a buddy who's from Chicago, and he's the same. He's like, you got to have the deep dish. He's like, you can't have those thin New York styles. They're nothing. And it's funny you mentioned I had another friend who there is a deep dish place here in town. I don't know what it's called, but it is on my radar to try. It's on my radar to try soon. It's supposed to be very good.
Well, when COVID's all gone, come to Chicago. I got you a pizza.
All right, we'll do it. Sounds good.
Yeah. Okay. Now, hopefully when things get back to normal, sooner rather than later, are there any projects you got in the works or have in the works?
I'm sorry, what was that last part?
Oh, sorry about that. Do you have any projects in the works?
Well, I had I can't talk about it officially yet, but I was going to move on to another project that I was supposed to be scoring in October of this year that has been pushed because they weren't able to shoot it. So that should happen next summer, and it was going to work. It was going to be a project for a producer who I just did a project for this year. But once I'm able to talk about it, I will definitely announce it. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that because I was very excited to be doing that now, and we all just got to wait.
Yeah, damn COVID, right?
Damn COVID. I know that's rough, man. But hopefully we'll get there soon.
It's been a weird year. Like I believe it or not, I graduated virtually through high school.
Oh, congratulations! I'm sorry, but congratulations. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, this has been like a crazy year with 2020. Like, oh my gosh, like, man. Crazy.
Yeah, I feel for you, man. And having to go through school like that, and we all were so having to adjust to the disconnection of being social distanced. But we're getting, we just got to hang tight and get through it. Kudos to you for turning, what you've turned lemon into lemonade with your podcast here, and that's beautiful. That's great.
Thank you. Okay, and then what's COVID? At least I could tell a story, like with COVID, like I could tell my kids back in my day for graduation.
Yep. Because back when that happened, I was doing this and that. Yeah, I know. We're all gonna have that. We're all gonna have this year of pause. Like how do we fill that time when the world kind of had to stop a bit? It's crazy.
Yeah, I figured, like you said, with these podcasts, like I want to leave like a positive impact. That's why like a positive and yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, hey, this could be a new thing. This could be something that was born out of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So who knows? It's great.
Thank you. Okay, now what advice would you give people who want to go in the music composing business? What's your advice?
Well, I would say if you want to go into the composing for film and TV business, you want to make sure that you really, really want to do it, and that you really, really love making music, and that you can't live without making music. And I say that because it's a hard career to break into. It's a very hard career to sustain and make a living from. So, the best things in life, I'm sorry to be cliche, but they don't come free. You have to pay dues and go through a lot of hardship to get there. But that being said, as long as you're realistic with how things can go, it's super rewarding and can be unbelievably fulfilling and an amazing experience to create music with other people, musicians, filmmakers, telling stories, together. And I wouldn't trade it for anything. So that'd be my advice.
Good advice. I like that.
Thank you.
Okay. Is there anything you'd like to promote and shout out? I can link down below in the description.
Oh, thank you. Like I said, I'm working on this docuseries right now called Legacy. I'm not sure when it's going to come out or where it's going to come out yet, but you can follow me and on my social channels, and I'll obviously be putting updates of all my work to come there. So that's probably the best thing to promote. I'm on Instagram at Tony Morales Music. I am on Twitter at TM Composes, and I'm on. I have a Facebook musician page if you want to check that out. Tony Morales Music. And but I can also be. You can also see updates on my work at my website, TonyMoralesMusic.com.
Yeah, I'll link all those. I'll say check out all these amazing links by Tony.
Great. Well, thanks so much for having me, Joseph. This was awesome. This was great.
Well, I thank you all so much for watching. Thank you, and Tony, for being an awesome, amazing guest.
Thank you. It's been my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Have a great day, everybody, and stay awesome. And stay awesome, Tony.
Thank you, Joseph.